Hello again, teachers. So this module demo would be for early year foundation school, so EYFS. I already recorded the one for basic 1 to 4 or 5. So if you're coming from that video, thanks for acknowledging my message. So for EYFS, again, this will be relevant to, two teachers that I know of, Bell and Gift. Hello guys, nice to meet you guys virtually, and hopefully someday we get to, put a face to our names. But in the meantime, I will show you how to enter results for EYFS. It's a bit more involved than basic 1 to 4. So I really thank you for your efforts, and I really acknowledge the hard work you guys are doing and putting into making Trillium a success. So I'll start from the beginning again. I will send a link, and the best way to access this would be from a desktop computer, so not a mobile phone. So hopefully you have access to a computer in the school with internet. Once you do, you'll visit this link, portal.trilliumsuccess.academy. Enter your username and password. Your username is the email you sent, which is your primary email. Again, if you have any challenges, feel free to reach out to me or any of the school admins, and I can get in contact with them and give you instructions on how to reset your password and go from there. So we'll log in. Again, I'm using the fake staff, Cynthia Adebola, but once you log in, you should see your name in there. And once you log in, you will see your respective class, which in this case is EYFS Nursery 1, right? So I assigned Cynthia Adebola to Nursery 1, but in reality, Nursery 1 and Nursery 2, I believe, are the responsibility of Gift, or at least she's covering for a teacher that left. But once you log in, you'll see Nursery 1 and 2 classes show up here. And then for Bell, you'd only see pre-nursery, right? So, pre-nursery, it'll say pre-nursery here, but it'll show the same class listings. Okay. Once you're ready, you go to formal assessment. Again, assess, formal assessment. In here, you will see a list of students. You can ignore this for now and go to write internal assessments. So right away, you would see a list of all your classes, and this is a condensed version of what we used to send out before. So maybe I'll take a step back and show you what the previous report was. So here's an example of the consolidated second term EYFS report for Uche Munachimso David from Nursery 2. So up here there's attendance, and there's an individual progress tracker, and the prime areas of learning. So for example, reading, writing, phonics, number, shape, space, and measure, that's grouped under what I would call the prime areas of learning, right? And then you then have your actual grading scheme here, right? So I'm guessing if the child scores below a certain number, you'll either put it at developing, secure, or emerging. In this case, I think most of the kids are doing okay, so I think they're all in the mastery section. I essentially transposed all of this into a simple matrix or a simple table. So take, for example, starting from arts, you'll have quite a few entries or prime areas to assess the kids on. So the big thing to look for is the heading. So for example, ELG 17 and ELG 18 are the two categories for arts. And again, if I take you back to the arts section, expressive arts and design. I summarize that as arts. ELG 17, exploring and using art media and materials. ELG 18, being imaginative, right? So those two clusters that report up to the expressive arts and design are in here as tables, right? So for first time, again, the results should already be there for most students, with the exception of Ifechukwu. I guess would need to figure out why that's missing, but I guess I never really got their results. If you do have them, you can enter them here for first term and then second term. But what we're concerned about now is third term. So third term is the priority. So even though there are some missing from the previous terms, that's not priority for this semester. The goal is to get the third term results out as quickly as possible. So your priority should be to fix the third term results. So in this case, I have a fake student, Adebola Chinelo. She's a fake student I created for this demo. So I will again go, and then to write my EL17, I'll click enter data. No need to change or modify anything up here. You can leave all these as the same. So for EL17, exploring and using art media materials, this maps directly to EL17 down here. Again, I've made everything as simple as possible for you guys to enter. So you go in here. So for Adebola, I'll give her a 94. Under attainment, the EYFS grade, you can pick one of 5 options: mastery, secure, emerging, developing, and pre-merge. So in this case, because she scored a 94, I believe it's mastery. The breakdown for how to score is down here. So for example, the scale, if they scored 40 to 60%, that's pre-emerging. 61 to 70 is emerging. 71 to 80 developing, secure 81 to 90, and then mastery is anything above 91. You can use this as a rubric, but there is no expectation for you to enter information into this template again. So we're getting rid of this form and sticking to the website going forward for result entry. But in my case now, Adebola Chinedu, the fake student, has a 94 mastery, and then it's always important to write comments for the student. So I would say Adebola Chinelo is a great girl. She has shown lots of for arts and is promising. Okay. Right away, you can see that the system flags some words here as incorrect or have as a typo. Adebola Chinelo, these are not English words, so you can disregard this. But this is a typo, so I will correct the shown, and this is a typo, I'll correct this to promising. So this now indicates that we've finished the reporting for Adebola Chinelo. She scored a 94, mastery, and these are the comments that you as a teacher will be making. You press submit. You can go back, and now you could see now for Adebola Chinelo, I have put her attainment, the score, the effort, which is mastery, and then the comments for her. That's for EL17 arts. Now moving on to EL18 imagine. You can remember there are 2 facets for arts, right? So we had EL17 and EL18. For this, we'll repeat the same thing. Being imaginative, how is Chinelo as a student? I would say she's pretty imaginative. She likes to imagine things. So again, mastery, and then comment. Chinelo has an active imagination and is developing at a natural, comfortable pace. Always very important to give us, a lot of detail into comments, because that's what parents really care about. They truly want to know and assess how their kids are developing compared to the other kids in their class. But feel free to tailor this directly to the child that you're assessing. Again, no need to mess with the dates or anything. Just click submit, and then you can go back. You can see now I have completed the ELG 18 and ELG 17, and you could hover over them to figure out what they mean. Sometimes the descriptions don't really make too much sense, but it gives you a sense. If you hover over the text, it gives you a sense about what you're assessing. Now we're done this, we'll move on to Bible. Again, EYFS Bible Nursery 1. You should only see classes that you are responsible for. You should not see, for example, Nursery 2 if you're not responsible for that, or Basic 1, things like that. Again, we have fewer this time. So for Bible, we only have ELG 19, the Bible Club. We don't have, similar to, again, just, comparing it to EYFS Arts, where we had 2 domains. For Bible Club, we only have the 1 domain, which is just Bible Club, right? So you only get to enter comments, I guess, once. So again, we'll go here and write some comments and say for Chinelo, so this time Chinelo scored, let's say, an 89. I know 89 is secure, so I'll say Chinelo remembers her Bible verses and knows how to recite them back when prompted. Okay. Again, you can write as many words as you'd like. You just give a brief detail. I know it's a lot of work, but it's really important to assess these kids correctly. Give parents as much information as possible. That really goes a long way in their development as well. Once you're done, in this case we submit, click go to go back. You can see the comments in here now. There are no comments or anything for Chinelo for 2nd term and 1st term, because I just created a fake student. I don't really care for, I'm just worried about 3rd term for now. We go to communication and language, comlang. Again, you can look here to see if there are other things or other domains to assess. In this case, there are 3 domains to assess for communication and language, which is short for comlang. And again, I know the description sometimes and not the best, but there are limitations on the system, and it forces us to truncate the names of some of these subjects for efficiency's sake. So if something doesn't make sense, always ask questions, or you can refer back to the individual tracker. So communication and language with the 3 domains, that's already mapped there. So we have the listening, understanding, and speaking, right? You click older, you would see listening, understanding, and speaking for 2nd term, and older, listening, understanding, and speaking for 1st term, right? So you have 3 terms, you have 3 domains. Again, remember to complete every single thing, and you could use this toggle down here to go back and forth. Now, I will do the listening for, so let's say she's very attentive, mastery. So Chinelo listens to her teachers. again, typo, correct it, enter them for the rest of the students, hit submit. And if you're not able to finish your work, you don't have to, get through everything. Just make sure you're hitting submit and you're seeing that it's saving successfully. If you want to take a break or whatever, you can always log out, and whenever you have time, log back in. The system should remember and save all your work as long as you press submit. And so you can go from there. Again, to go back to this screen, you can just select the subject you're working on and press go. It takes you back. You complete the rest of the data, do that for all the classes and whatnot. Again, remember what's driving it is the term. So moving and handling has two domains: moving, health habits, and self-care. Third term, right? You'd enter this for all the students. That would complete the formal assessment, but the job is not done, right? So once you're done your formal assessments, you then write your report, right? Your report is your final assessment about the students in that form group. So you go reports, and then you go, you see this reporting screen. This shows you right away what the reporting cycle is, right? So the reporting cycle is third term. It's currently active. Third term reporting cycle is from April 1st to July 31st. And the grades due, comments due this Friday, but the system will not kick you out. It still lets you proceed even though it's past due. So you would see right away that the class that you're responsible for will show up here. You can either click write reports down here or write reports. So we can click here. If you try to access a class that you're not responsible for, it throws an error for you, right? So it's very important to only access the classes that you're responsible for. So for example, if you try to access N00, which is the pre-nursery, again, N00 is pre-nursery, N01, nursery 1, N02, nursery 2, basic 1, basic 2, and so on and so forth. So we try to access pre-nursery, N00 pre-nursery. It tells you this report is read-only. You do not have access to make changes, right? Right away it tells you that. So in our case, we'll select the right one, and it gives us access. We no longer have that error. Again, you'll pick the first student and write comments for them. So in our case, let's pick the fake student that we have, Chinelo, and write reports for her. So Chinelo has behaved herself all throughout third term. We are happy to see her grow. Okay, of course, don't write comments this short. You have up to 1,000 characters. Write as much as you can about that student. Teachers have a lot of responsibility, and you guys are with these kids for several hundred days in a year, so I'm sure you have a lot to say. Of course, don't write paragraphs, but give lots of detail about their progress and things like that. So once you're done, you press complete. Very important. If you have more to do, you can click save and next, and it pulls the next one. For example, if I click save and next, it takes me to Elsa GME's reports, but I don't know who this kid, so I'm not going to touch this one. I'll leave this up to the teachers that are very competent to get done. But once you're done, you'll see that we have an assessment for Chinelo and a final assessment down here. So that essentially completes the reporting and internal assessments. Again, two activities. You write your internal assessment, and then you write your final reports for that student. And the good thing about this is that once you're done, the system generates a report card, and I can show you what that report card looks like. So what it eventually gets sent to the parents. So I will generate a report to test for right now. Give me 1 sec, I'm still here. Just going to pull up the report. Okay, so that's the new template, and you know the way the report card looks now. The good thing is it pulls the data automatically. Once we are ready to issue the reports, you'd have the third term report card, you'd have the child's name, the term, child's name, the child's class. Again, remember, Chinelo is not a real student. This is just a demo, and you can see the watermark. Because this is not a final copy, there's a watermark there that says that this is not the final copy, it's a draft copy. The good thing is it'll show again the child's name, the child's class, Nursery 1, the name of the report, the child's form group rather, which is also Nursery 1, the tutor. Again, this will show Mrs. Gift and Obong's name, because she is ultimately, you know, who is entering this report, and she is responsible for the form group. Student ID, because this is a fake student, there's no ID here, but in a real case there will be a student ID that's attached to this student. You would see now the prime areas of learning that we entered. Because I only entered 4 domains, there's only 4 down here, but once you enter all of them, you would see a long list of domains that you know, will show the child's assessment across those domains, what they attained, their mastery level, and then the comments that you entered. The good thing is that at the end, it will show the year group comments. So for example, what you said finally about the student, Chinelo has behaved herself all throughout third term. We're happy to see her grow, right? So you'd have a longer comment or longer summary comment about the child's complete assessment for third term, or you could, you know, talk about whatever you want to tell the parents in this box. The good thing is it also shows again what these domains are, because sometimes it might be hard for parents to understand. So parents can see ELG 17 and then come down here and understand that ELG 17 is exploring and using media/art materials, focuses on your child's creative expression through various art forms and materials. And I think this is a very good report for early years, because it gives you a very detailed early year goals for them, and it ties that back to a rubric that they can rely on. It also shows the grading scale, like I mentioned. If a child scores between 40 to 60, they are marked as pre-emerging. If they score above 90, then, you know, they have the mastery mark. And then there are some things that I hear about, like, you know, is a child working at the expected level, above expected, and whatnot. So the rubric shows the parents all the information they need. So your job is to populate this with as much detail as possible. So that's what gets finally sent to the parents' email. And whenever they log into the portal, they're also able to see this report card. It makes things easier and cleaner to manage on my end and your end. And yeah, so that's the end of the demo. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or any of the school admins, and they'll be willing to help, or reach out to me for support. Again, thank you guys for everything you do. I understand this is quite a lot of work, but I believe in your abilities as teachers. Thank you so much, and good luck.